Imagine two people walking together on the exact same quiet path in the early morning. They move at the very same comfortable pace without rushing or feeling out of breath. To anyone watching from the outside, their peaceful morning walks look almost entirely identical today. Their steady steps move forward while their arms swing naturally in the exact same rhythm. But there is one very small difference that will completely change their internal biological results. The first person suddenly checks their watch after 20 minutes and decides to stop walking. The second person ignores the time and bravely continues walking until 50 minutes have passed. From a distance, this simple choice might just seem like 30 extra minutes of movement, but deep inside the human body, an incredibly dramatic and powerful biological shift is happening. When you begin to walk, your body never randomly chooses what internal fuel to burn. Instead, your human body always strictly follows a very specific and highly protected biological order. First, your moving body quickly uses the easily accessible energy floating inside your warm bloodstream. Then, if your movement continues long enough, it slowly begins unlocking deeper hidden fuel reserves. Those hidden energy reserves almost always sit safely in the place many people hate most. That place is your stubborn belly fat, which is much more than just extra padding. Belly fat acts like an incredibly smart and metabolically active tissue communicating with your body. Throughout the long day, your stubborn belly fat cells act exactly like very careful bankers. They safely store massive energy reserves and strictly protect them against any sudden outside threats. These careful banker cells only release stored energy when your body sends urgent hormonal messages. Therefore, when your morning walk initially begins, your stubborn belly fat never simply disappears instantly. In fact, during those very early minutes of movement, your fat cells remain completely quiet. They are silently watching your physical effort and patiently waiting for highly specific chemical signals. They wait for your moving body to finally prove that this energy demand is serious. Only serious, continuous movement can fully justify opening the tightly locked biological vault of fat. That vital waiting period creates the massive difference between a short and a long walk. Somewhere during a much longer walk, something incredibly subtle yet fiercely powerful changes inside you. Your internal hormones dramatically shift, while chemical energy signals quickly evolve throughout your rushing bloodstream. Finally, those stubborn belly fat cells receive the critical message to release their stored fuel. The real fascinating question is never simply about whether walking actually burns your belly fat. The ultimate question is what happens inside those cells when you walk for 50 minutes. Once you finally understand this hidden biological shift, a simple walk becomes incredibly powerful medicine. For most normal people, the basic idea of burning fat during exercise feels very straightforward. You start moving your heavy body, you begin burning calories, and fat must slowly melt. It sounds perfectly logical because walking definitely feels like real physical effort to your brain. Your tired legs are moving, your breathing becomes much deeper, and your heart pumps faster. It seems incredibly obvious that pure fat must be melting away with every single step. This popular fitness belief has been repeated so frequently that everyone assumes it remains true. However, the complex human body absolutely does not work in that simple or straightforward way. Your highly evolved body is definitely not designed primarily for rapid or easy weight loss. It is perfectly designed for absolute survival and maximizing extreme biological efficiency during physical stress. Deep biological efficiency always means burning the absolute most convenient fuel sources available inside you. Several completely different sources of usable energy are readily available inside you at any moment. The easiest chemical fuel to access is glucose, which is simple sugar circulating inside blood. Your active working muscles can rapidly consume this floating blood glucose almost immediately, without preparation. Right behind floating glucose is another highly convenient internal fuel source, scientifically called muscle glycogen. Glycogen is essentially stored carbohydrate packed tightly inside your working muscles and your active liver. When your tired muscles begin working, this stored glycogen rapidly breaks down into usable glucose. Blood glucose and stored muscle glycogen serve as your extremely fast emergency internal energy supply. Human body fat is a completely different mechanism that requires significantly more time to unlock. Fat is securely stored inside specialized biological cells, medically known to scientists as human adipocytes. Inside these specialized cells, your precious energy is locked away as massive molecules called triglycerides. Unlike fast glucose, these massive triglyceride molecules absolutely cannot be used immediately by working muscles. They must first be physically broken apart into tiny chemical pieces, simply called fatty acids. This complex breaking process requires highly specific hormonal signals and extremely specialized active digestive enzymes. Therefore, fat always remains your ultimate long-term internal reserve and never the first choice. When you initially begin walking, your body completely naturally turns to the absolute fastest fuels. Fat burning technically happens at a minimal microscopic level, but never dominates the early phase. This creates a highly surprising biological reality during the very beginning of your morning walk. Even though you are visibly moving and burning calories, you run mostly on simple carbohydrates. Meanwhile, the incredibly complex fat-burning biological systems are merely beginning to prepare themselves internally. Essential messenger hormones are slowly adjusting, while specialized cellular enzymes are barely starting to activate. Chemical, biological signals are quietly traveling through the rushing bloodstream toward your stubborn belly fat. But the ultimate powerful shift toward actually burning locked belly fat has not happened yet. To deeply understand this delay, we must closely examine what your moving body actually prioritizes. Because your ancient biological body certainly has priorities that come long before burning any fat. During those initial walking minutes, your nervous body is completely ignoring your stubborn belly fat. Instead, your highly protective brain aggressively tries to guarantee absolutely perfect physical movement and stability. It desperately wants to perfectly protect a steady energy supply for your vital thinking brain. Your incredibly complex brain actually consumes a truly massive amount of raw energy every day. Even while calmly resting, your extremely active human brain constantly demands fresh floating blood glucose.